I'm not afraid to suck at stuff. Well, I think that's one of the things I'm most happy with my personality is that I know that if I stick with something, I usually will improve. And I think that like all of us can do that, right? Like we might not be a sub 3 hour marathoner now, but eventually maybe we are, or we're not going to be able to run a 5K yet, but eventually we will. And I think as long as you have that growth mindset and you're like, hey, I'm learning the skills that are going to allow me to do the thing I want to do, that's worth it to me.
And welcome back. We have Mike Wardian joining on the podcast again today. Mike was one of the very first guests back in 2019, and thrilled to have him back here today. Mike, thanks for taking some time to chat.
Oh man, yeah, thanks. It's not as nature centric as the last time when we were sitting in the woods, but it's good to be back and glad we can connect remotely. Last time I think it was in person, so
yes,
glad we have the technology to let us connect, even though we're not in the same place this time.
Yeah, the first one we did, we were just talking about it, was at the beginning of the Broken Arrow course. We were sitting in the woods in this must have been like June of 2019 with birds chirping in the background. But today you're wearing a tie and we're both indoors.
Yeah, exactly. I had to dress up, man. This is a big time podcast. I got to make sure I'm decked out for you.
Yeah, appreciate you bringing it today. Well, cool. So the first question is always a tough one, and that question is, who is Mike?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's funny. I'm dressed up because I just did a presentation for somebody. So I guess I could go off of basically what I said to the group that I was talking to, which is I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a international shipbroker, a business owner, a full-time professional athlete, and a vegan adventurer. So I guess that's a lot of different things, but somebody who likes to move my body as much as possible.
And you've been doing it for a while, and you wear a lot of hats. So we're going to dive into the longevity in the sport and how you do all of the things. I think that's one of the pieces that impresses people. It's not just what you're doing, but what you're doing within the context of all the other things that you're doing, and like letting your kids experience so much of it with you, which has been super cool to watch over the years. And the way I describe my entry into trail running was I met you and Devin Yanko I met Devin from you.
Yep.
And that was like 2015. And I started learning about trail running. And I was like, wait, people run longer than a marathon? That's crazy. I was like, I have to know more. We were introduced, I think in 2013 or 14 from a guy named Ray. And it was just fascinating to learn like what you were up to. So let's dial it back. You began your athletic journey as a lacrosse player. For those who aren't familiar, how did running find you?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I was not really interested in running unless it involves scoring goals. So I played lacrosse through high school and then at Michigan State University. And then running found me because I stopped playing going into my senior year and picked up running just to stay fit and figured, at some point I would run a marathon. And luckily I went home with my buddy Vince Boyson to his mom's and dad's house in Charlevoix, Michigan. I was not going home to Virginia at that time, and they took me in and had me for Easter, and she had just done the Boston Marathon, and that like crystallized. That was like the moment where I was like, oh, I'm going to run that race. And luckily she was able to give me like a little training program, and it's funny, I still have it. It's like called like Training for Your First Marathon. It's like in my little bookcase over here, and it's literally just like she Xerox some pages out of a book, and if it said Tuesday run 6 miles, that's what I would do. And I did that for I don't know, like 6 months, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to sign up for Boston, and then I sent away to the Boston Marathon. And this was like before you signed up online. You had to like send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and they sent it back and said like, what's your qualifying time? And I was like, I don't have that. I just want to run your race. So I ran Marine Corps in 1996, I think I was like 21 or 22 and ran 3 hours, 6 minutes, which was 4 minutes under the cutoff, which you didn't even have to come in under the cutoff. Like now, if you want to run Boston, you got to like have a margin. Like it was literally like just run under the cutoff and you get a spot. And so I did and ran Boston in 1997 and broke 3 hours and was absolutely hooked. And I've been going back to Boston. I think I'm over 22 times at Boston, and I think I've done 18 Marine Corps. And this year, I think it'll be my 19th Marine Corps. So definitely very faithful to those two races, and they're very special to me. And I think now I've done, I think like 180 marathons and 143 ultra marathons, and been able to travel all over the world for running and exploring. And yeah, just feel so lucky that I found running. I still sometimes think of myself more as a lacrosse player, but I've definitely had more success as a runner and been a runner longer than I ever played lacrosse.
What was it about the first few races that drew you in and hooked you?
Oh, I like to win. I'm super competitive. I'm super competitive. So I didn't win, but I knew like, oh, if I stick with this, I can probably be pretty good. And then I just got a taste for it. And then anyone in your audience that's ever been to Boston or been around one of the big city marathons, like a Boston, New York, Chicago, Marine Corps, Big Sur, I don't know, just like that energy is addictive, and I just love the people cheering for me, and then battling with the other competitors against them, but mostly against yourself, and like pushing each other to like see what you're capable of. Like that really resonated with me, and I just wanted to have that feeling as much as possible. So I love to race also. So I'll be racing anywhere from 40 to 50 times a year. And yeah, I just can't get enough of, being able to go out there and see what your body's capable of and just what you're able to endure. Like I like that feeling.
You race more than most. You've had some years where you've raced like 1,400, 1,500 miles, raced that many
That's true.
miles. What is it about that? And how does that make you, do you feel that it makes you a better person? Does it give you strength and skills to apply in other parts of life?
For me, it does. I mean, I think it's part of like my life. It's like what I like to do. It's like how I like to spend my time. It definitely dominates of a lot of my thought process, but it doesn't have to just be running. Like I just set the record in the Northern Virginia Senior Olympics the last 3 weeks. I did 45 events and won 40 medals, and that was in things ranging from like Scrabble. I did not win a medal in Scrabble, but I did swimming, diving, pickleball, croquet, bowling. I did obviously all the running events, but did stuff like I've never done before. Like I got disqualified from high jump, and I just like being out there, like trying things. Won my first medal in golf, which is shocking. Like luckily, I was able to finish the round and was able to come in the medals. So yeah, I think I like being out there doing stuff. I like challenging myself in new and different ways, and a lot of times that's through running, but that's also other events and other activities. And I'm always looking for the next thing. Like I just signed up to row across the Atlantic Ocean in 2027, so I'm getting ready for that right now. I just had my first class related to that, so I'm gaining the skills to prepare myself to take on another big challenge, rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean. And last year I ran the Appalachian Trail, completing like a dream I had since I was 16. And next year I'm hoping I can do the Pacific Crest Trail. So definitely like to keep it spicy and interesting, and always up for an adventure. And yeah, I always find something to do. And luckily I have good brands that are interested in supporting that, and then friends that are willing to go along for the adventure. Like right now, I think you guys, it's close to you, but they had the Taco Bell 50K.
Yeah.
And we're planning one here in DC for
Oh,
like next month.
oh,
So,
cool. Wait, when?
yeah, November, right now it's November 22nd. I might need to do something for for one of my sponsors that weekend. If I can't do it on the 22nd, then I think we're going to bump it to the 29th. So it's going to be one of those 2 days. It's totally fat ass, dude. You should come if you're interested.
Well, I'll be in Arlington the 9th through 12th.
Oh crap.
So
That's
so
going to be a little
close.
early.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing the USATF 50-mile national championship that weekend.
cool.
So at Tunnel Hill. So trying to break the American record. It's like one of the longest standing American records by Ted Corbett, like the pretty badass
Yeah.
guy that was one of the co-founders of the New York City Marathon. It's a record from 1970. So it's 5 hours 35 minutes for 50 miles. So pretty legit time. So it'll be fun to try to go after that.
Cool. Yeah, the I had a friend do the Taco Bell 50K here in Denver, and he had a blast.
Nice.
So, got to do it next year
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, dude, it'll be fun. Yeah, we haven't asked them or anything. We're just doing it. Like I feel like it's just a fat ass thing.
Yeah.
But if
Just-
yeah, if they have any issues, like we'll be like, okay, sorry.
If they have any issues, that would be odd because it's a restaurant that loves consumerism and having 40 people
Yeah.
roll through and buy food seems like a good problem to have.
Yeah. I actually do have a question for them though. I want to know if you can order ahead or you have to actually wait through the drive-through or the line because like I feel like if you just ordered ahead, you could save some time.
Yeah.
So I've already think about ways to like shave off time. And then yeah, you have different, caloric thresholds that you have to hit at the different places and different menu items. But yeah, I did something similar. Like I ran 100K. There's a local taco shop called District Taco here in DC and I ran to all their 12 locations and it was like 100K and that was super fun. But I was definitely by the 10th one, I was like, dude, I just need not as much stuff in the taco.
So it's
So,
funny because like
so,
you don't
so
have to carry any other fuel, right? You're just like loading up at each restaurant, right?
I think it depends. We have one, like the way we planned it, I think there's one 12-mile section. So you might need to
Got
have
it.
some water in that section, especially depending on what time of day it is. But I think it'll be fun. It'll be like any like, FKT where you're, just able to use the environment. So like, yeah, if you have to stop into 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee or something between, like that's cool.
I'll ask my friend Kevin, who's the one who did it here, if they were able to order ahead, and I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah,
So,
that would be great. I would like to know.
how do you pick these adventures? Right, you've done more than most. You did 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. You've run across the country. You've done the things on every continent. Like, how do you decide what to do?
A lot of times it's just like what is of interest and then what do I think will be the most challenging. Sometimes it's dictated by like what is important to some of the brands I work with, but a lot of times like I have a lot of freedom to just come up with adventures. Like we just did one with Teva where I combined like a family trip with FKTs in the British Virgin Islands, so I would run like a FKT in the morning and try to keep it under 2 hours. And then the rest of the time was with family. So I'm always trying to like find things that are of interest to me and that, kind of work with our family. So, a lot of times like I'll get asked to do things too. Like I'm pacing an autistic athlete in New York City. And that's something like if I have the opportunity to give back, like I'll take advantage of those. And then sometimes it's like just personal, like, goal setting. Like I want to try to break some American records. Earlier this year, I set the 50 to 54 American record for 50K, and I'd been chasing that since I turned 50 a year ago. So I finally was able to get that. So, and then it just depends, I have some races here. There's one called the Fulham Triathlon where you row 10K, you do 30 times up and down the exercise steps and you run 10K. And like, that's one that like a friend of ours son told me about because he's on the crew team. And so like I've done that the last couple of years and each year I get a little bit better and I've been trying to win it. And so like, if I find something cool, then I try to explore it and just see how well I can do in it. But yeah, and then some of them are like lifelong projects that are of interest, and then some are just the opportunity arises and I can take advantage of it. I like to say yes more than I say no. So If I can do something, then I try to.
You spend a lot of time in the pain cave and exploring limits, both mental and physical. You must have a very large pain cave as a result, as it expands every time you enter it. But what's your guidance for people who are looking to have a better relationship with enduring more and pushing limits?
Well, I feel like Courtney's the one who kind of coined that term. I definitely have experience with discomfort and what it means to endure. I think that Pain Cave is a good visual for sure. I think the biggest thing is, and you hear this a lot, is like know your why. Like if it's like so you can post about it on social media or tell your partner like, oh, look what I did. Like that might be enough. But I think it has to be really something within you that is pushing you forward, or else it's going to be much easier to stop when things don't go well. And no matter how expertly you plan and strategize and get everything lined up, like stuff is going to go wrong, dude. It always does. And so, like being able to be comfortable with a general game plan and being fluid and willing to adapt, I think is important. And then, like I was saying to the group I was talking to today, like I always try to have multiple goals because if your goal is like, I'm just going to win the race and, somebody shows up and they're having a better day than you, that makes it easy to drop out. So it might be like, I'm going to win the race. I'm going to run the best I can run. I'm going to be the first guy with a beard or from Arlington or like I can get very minute when things are going bad. So like always having a reason to keep moving forward and then yeah, always trying to do the best possible. I think that's what gets me moving, especially when things are going bad. And then like I like kind of chasing that. Like I know that it seems weird, but it just takes longer for me to get to a point where I feel like that. But if you can transcend that, like, yeah, it used to be like, mile 80 of a 100 miler. Now it might be like 3 weeks on the Appalachian Trail or so. So that makes it much harder to get to that place, but you can also find it in a 5K if you're pushing hard enough. So that's what I like about doing all the different things is there are different ways to kind of get to experience that.
You mentioned the why. The slogan of this podcast is literally exploring the why. So I definitely want to push on that one a little bit more. How has your why evolved over the years?
I think it's like many people as you age, like, I think before I was looking for external validation, like I was looking to like, make the first club team I made was Pacers running here in Arlington. They own a bunch of stores and like I thought, ooh, I'd made it when I was on that team. And that was like a big stepping stone for me to like legitimize myself in my head to make me a legitimate runner. And maybe it's like the first time you break 3 hours for me, that was like, ooh, look, I'm a great runner. And I think there was a lot of external things. I think now, like, one of the things I'm most proud of is I've been doing 100 burpees a day since like July and for 100 days. And literally, like, no one cares except me. And so like I do a lot of things like that where it's like I'm just trying to explore if I can do it and it's mostly just to see if it's possible for me. And if other people find it interesting, that's awesome. And I definitely want to try to inspire people to do more than they think they can and to see what they're capable of. But I'm less concerned with like how it's going to look to other people. Like, which is why, like, a lot of people were like, oh man, like, why are you doing the Senior Olympics? But it was more just to be like, I haven't done a lot of these events in I don't know, since I was like 7 or 8 and to like be able to go back to them and just find the passion for croquet or Scrabble or I don't know, bowling. Like I hadn't bowled since like a bunch of us would go in high school. So I think that was for me just like something that I thought would be cool, and I did it, and I think like that's what makes it fun to me at the moment is like seeing what I'm capable of, and also like keeping things interesting.
Do you find yourself as a beginner like repeatedly? Is there something to that, like trying a new thing?
Oh yeah, and I don't mind. I'm not afraid to suck at stuff. Well, I think that's one of the things I'm most happy with my personality is that I know that if I stick with something, I usually will improve. Like that being said, I'm like a terrible stretcher. Like I've been trying to be better at stretching forever, and I just am not very good at it, but I still, try to get better in little ways. And I know I'm like terrible at squatting. Like my squats are like terrible, but that's something I, continue to work on. And I think that like all of us can do that, right? Like we might not be, you know, a sub 3 hour marathoner now, but eventually maybe we are, or we're not going to be able to run a 5K yet, but eventually we will. And I think as long as you have that growth mindset and you're like, hey, I'm learning the skills that are going to allow me to do the thing I want to do, that's worth it to me.
How do you interact with curiosity?
Oh, daily. I'm so curious. Like I am immensely curious about all things. I'm like an avid reader and consumer of information, and so like I have very diverse interests, like from you know weird anime cartoons from the '90s to like foosball to bocce to pickleball to I don't know to very depressing books, which I just read, like Demon Copperhead. I don't know if you've read that, but it was just a look inside the addiction and foster care, and it was fantastic. But like I don't know, I'm always curious about learning about different things and then how I can apply that to my life. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that I'm immensely curious and I am excited about like what I can learn and and then I my kids and family and friends I spam them with like just random crap I find. I feel like I should have like a newsletter, like those guys who like this is the cool stuff I learned this week. I feel like I should probably do that because like I'm sure that I'm like the first person that thought of it something, but like or saw something, but I'm sure other people have, and that would probably give me an outlet to like hear from people that like, oh, if you like this, you'll like that. And I don't know. I love I don't know. I hope I never lose the interest in learning new and different things.
I would absolutely subscribe to your newsletter. I feel like I'm already on your newsletter list because you've been sending me like weekly or monthly updates ever since we started working together at Insight Tracker like a decade ago. And by the way,
Yeah.
I talked with Yuri Oswald about that, about how like more athletes should be doing things like that and communicating with their sponsors and having this feedback loop of like, hey, you're helping me do all these cool things. Like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm planning. Here's what I'm thinking about. And it's just like, you've been doing it for 10 years and not many other people seem to be doing something like that. So like, you're already kind of doing the work. You could just have a larger reach with it by tailoring it a little bit differently, which would be super cool. I definitely enjoy it. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
how
dude.
does he do all these things?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel like yeah, I mean I want to share what I'm doing with the brand so they can share it with people and so they know, what their support's going towards, right? Like I mean, everyone's trying to make sure that they're getting value out of the relationship, and I want to, make sure that I show them that like they are helping me achieve certain things, and then hopefully we can continue to grow the relationship. Like that's like I have no end of cool things that I think up, and like I need the support to do it. So like yeah, right now I'm trying to gain enough traction to do the rowing across the Atlantic. So that's going to be like a very big expensive project, but I think it'll also be worthwhile and will reach a lot of people and hopefully raise a lot of money for charity. So, yeah.
So I think brands like working with you because you're doing these wild things, but also approaching it from a relatable enough aspect. Like you have two kids, you have a couple dogs, your wife, Jennifer, is incredible as well. And like you have a full-time
Yeah.
job. And so you have depth, and that's like the people that are following you are, that's how they interact with life as well.
Yeah. I think it is relatable.
I've just been curious about like the evolving dynamic you've had on the brand side, but wanted to hear more about what you were going to say first on the relatability piece.
No, I mean, I think that that is something I know when I'm looking at athletes, like that's something that really resonates with me is like, I think it's awesome that, people can spend, 6 weeks at the Hard Rock course going over every inch of it. But for most of us, we live at sea level and we train at sea level and we get to go out to Colorado for maybe 6 or 7 days before the race if we're lucky. And, some years I've had to work up until like, you know, 2 days beforehand and fly out. So like, it just, it doesn't work sometimes. And so, that's just the way my life is and a lot of people's lives. And, if I can share like, oh yeah, I just got from, you know, 0 feet to 10,000 feet and I'm dying. Like, I think that's relatable rather than, somebody that lives in a hut at 15,000 feet and, their full-time job is to work like, or is to run, and I think that that's awesome. And I love that there are people that can do that, but I think like it makes it hard for people to see themselves in that person. And, I hope they can see like, he does have a family, he does have a job, he does have a dog, and or we have two dogs, and all the things that I'm dealing with, and they are able to do these incredible things. And I know when I'm seeing people doing that, I'm like, wow, that's just super badass. Like, how is that possible? And then maybe learning a trick or two from that person. Like that's what I'm hoping I'm doing for people, and I love seeing other people doing that.
I'm curious more on the brand side. You've been kind of at the forefront of, you've worked with some of the biggest brands in running, and you've worked with some of the biggest brands not in running. I'm personally obsessed with bringing more non-running brands into running. I think you've had a deal with T-Mobile in the past, like things like that. Like, how do you come up with these ideas of who to work with, and how have you made it happen over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, if you can get a non-endemic sponsor, like those are great, right? Because you don't have any conflicts of interest. You're not having, like Goo and Morton and or and you can. I mean, I guess if you have the feed as a sponsor, like wow, you're set, right? Because you can have a lot of different brands. But I think a lot of it is just relationships, right? You build good relationships with people, and I was lucky in that I had a friend that knew John, who was the former CEO of T-Mobile, and I was looking for support to do 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents, and they connected us. And I've been lucky enough to be a T-Mobile athlete since 2017, and I just have been shocked with how great like it's been, like how the service is. I'm able to FaceTime my wife from the middle of the Gobi Desert, and we were sending pictures from Antarctica, and like T-Mobile, like it works in our house. Like, there's some services that don't. They're even doing more now. I don't know if you know how cool it is with the satellite. So you don't even need cell towers. You
Right.
can send messages. And I think soon, it starts very soon actually, like, because I just did a post for them October 1st, but you can send, I think, pictures and videos soon without cell towers. So, like, yeah, I just feel like super lucky in that. And then I have some like a nut butter sponsor, like my friends at Big Spoon Roasters. Like it's a specialty food brand, but I just love the brand. And like a lot of times, like if I love something, like I've been working on trying to get a Driscoll sponsorship because or I should say, we love their products. And like, I just think that they're a great company. And so, yeah, I basically, if I love something, I try to reach out to them and see if there's a way we can partner. So if anyone knows, like I know some people have been getting cars, like my car is on the fritz right now. So I'm looking for a car brand sponsorship. And a lot of times I'll just put it out in the world, dude. And you never know what'll happen. Like I saw that, Tim Tolson got like a F-150, and dude, I've been eyeing the Bronco for a long time. So yeah, Ford's out there listening, or I have a Defender now that's in the shop, but I am going to apply to that Defender trophy competition, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I just keep my ears and eyes open, and I feel like it's a lot of no's, right? Like it's just like anything, like sales calls or being persistent. Like when I was first trying to get sponsored, it was for every one yes, I probably got 100 no's, and that's just how it works. And like a lot of times it's like not even like I don't have a watch sponsor at the moment. I'm in love with like Koros. Like I like their stuff, but I've gone out to other brand companies and brands too because it's something that I use every day and it tracks all my stuff. And so, you just keep reaching out to people and you never know where it'll turn out.
We got to get you on the Amazfit team. That's the watch I'm wearing now. They're actually sponsoring the
Oh,
podcast, so
okay.
we'll have to
Oh, wow. Okay.
we'll put you in touch with Allison. She'll get you a watch, and they're focused on battery life and demonstrating features and like really strong battery life for a fraction of the price of some of the other watches. And so I feel like your
Okay.
use case is like, hey, I'm going really long, like you need battery. So
All the time.
we'll have to
Yeah.
get you connected.
I hate charging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the
100%.
other
That would
brands,
be
the
cool.
chargers are brutal, but like this one is, it sits on top and it's never a problem. It's just great.
Oh, you don't have to like finagle it at exactly
Upside
the right
down.
angle.
Nope.
All right. No. Oh wow. Okay, you're talking my language.
So if you're listening, you can use the code FTLR for a 10% discount on Amazfit. And if you're Mike Wardian, we'll put one in the mail for you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well cool. Yeah. Well, see, there you go. See,
Sweet.
that's how you do it. You just like keep the word out there and see what happens.
Totally. Love it. So, how have you seen the world of sponsorship evolve over the last decade, right? As you mentioned, you've had some partners since 2017 and even earlier. Like, what are you seeing in the space
Oh, yeah.
and how has it grown?
Oh, dude, it's crazy. No, I've been a sponsored athlete since 2002. So, like, for 23 years. So, I've seen it change tremendously. And it's great. I mean, when I first got sponsored, it was like, if you got a pair of shoes a couple times a year, it was like, sweet. And I was really happy. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I get, to do what I love and, get some swag from it. Like, this is terrific. And but as I've come up in the sport and learned more and seen more, like I think brands are really investing in their athletes, which I think is great. I think it's a win-win for everyone. The athletes are able to train more, do more, take on more things with the amount of support that they're getting. So like that's what's allowed me to do these things, and it's really not possible without the support of the brands. Like it's just not something that I could do without it. So I'm so grateful to have been a sponsored athlete and continue to be a sponsored athlete. And I hope that I am able to garner support for everything I have coming forward. And I'd say the biggest change is like in the past, it was like more like really focused on certain events and like doing really well in those events. And I think now, at least the sponsors that I think are doing the most for the athletes, it's like, how can we support the athlete in what they want to do? And if it's a race, that's cool. If it's a FKT, that's awesome. If it's like they want to like just, see how long they can hold their breath, like free diving to the bottom of the ocean, like that's something that we're into too. So I think that it's a lot of collaboration between the brand and the athlete and like just being able to share that. So like I think a lot more focus on like engaging community, building community with the athlete and then also the brand. And like it doesn't necessarily have to be a race. And I think that's the biggest shift is like it used to be like that's all that brands cared about was like podiums at races. And I think like brands realize that there's value in that, but there's also value in other things. And I think that's great because like not everyone, has the best day on I don't know. It reminds me kind of like school, right? Like some people test well, other people don't, but like it doesn't mean that they're not valuable and it's not they're not a good student. It's just like that's not the way they do their best work. And so I think like brands understand that there's other ways to add value and the relationship can be mutually beneficial other than just results from an arbitrary day in an arbitrary event. And that's what I think is great. And it works for everyone.
Yeah, totally. I'm loving the trend of more of the community focus and the focus on events and doing things around races versus like just the races. I think it's critical to keep focus on like the performance aspect of the sport and like celebrate elite performance, but also celebrate the 7 hour marathoner and the first time 5K runner and like all of the other people that
100%.
keep the sport afloat.
Yeah, exactly. And like there's no like this person's better than the other person. I love that
Yeah,
about what we do also. Like everyone realizes that what we're doing is hard, and like just because you finish faster doesn't mean that has any more value than the person that's taking the entire time. And that person is just doing it in a different way. And like I like that we celebrate everybody from the first person to the last person to the person that wasn't able to finish this time. Like I think that's great. Like, but I do love to run, I do love to win, and I do love to run fast and hard. So like,
totally.
I appreciate that has a place also, and that's valued.
For sure. Another piece in the support and like enablement of doing the thing is obviously family and the people around you that you spend the most time with. A number of years ago, you wrote an article that we published that talked about invisible training and how you blend your running into your daily life so that it's not an interruption, but it's just, possible. Can you talk more about how, while wearing many hats, you're able to make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% correct. Yeah, I think invisible training is something I'm really big on, and it's basically doing your training in a way that has the most minimal impact on your family and your current relationships and your obligations. And so, like for me, that meant run commuting to work and or bike commuting. Now that I work at home, it's like a little arbitrary, but I still wake up most days at 4:45 in the morning, and like nobody really needs me at that time, and so like that's a time where I can get a workout in, and then I usually do another workout around lunch or so. So that's kind of like my second workout now. Like since I've started running people's dogs, so like I get a workout in and I get to run somebody's dog, and it's like one of my favorite jobs I've ever had because like everyone's excited. I'm excited for another run. They're excited to go for their run. So I think like being clever with your time and making it as efficient and useful as possible. Like so, I'm getting my training in. I'm helping somebody exercise their dog, and making enough money to buy my Driscoll's berries, and it's like it's a win-win-win. So like I look for those opportunities and try to take advantage of them when I can. And if that's I'm at a kids we were at a frisbee tournament for our son Grant, and I hadn't got my second run done, so I did 6 miles like around the fields while they were playing, and so just like being efficient with your time and trying to get all the things done when you can.
What did Grant and Pierce think about all of the racing and travel, right? Like they've been able to experience so much more than the average American experiences in a lifetime, as kids. Like how did they interact with that?
I think they appreciate it. I mean, they've been to I think 33 countries in all seven continents, and all that's and we have a I don't know everyone doesn't know their age, but Pierce is 18 and Grant's 16. So before both of them had turned 18 years old, and that's 100% due to running and my ability to try to bring them to events. And we're always looking for places where we can travel as a family, but if I can also take part in an event, that definitely makes it a little bit easier to do as a family. And so yeah, I think what's cool for them is Pierce ran his first marathon last year, and Grant, I've been trying to see if he's interested in doing a marathon at some point. So like I think that it runs in their blood, and it's something that they're very comfortable with, seeing people and like we were talking about in different stages of pain, and like nothing really bothers them. Like weather isn't a factor, blisters, blood, like all the things that you see when you're crewing and pacing somebody that they've already seen and done. And so, and the chance to do that all over the world, like I think makes them very comfortable in their own skin. Like that's what I love the most about it is, they're very Grant traveled with me to Japan last year as a 15-year-old, and I wasn't feeling well a couple of nights, and so he just went out in the middle of Tokyo by himself to go to like look at like electronics, and at like 10:30 at night, and was taking the subway, and he ended up like directing us around because I kept getting us lost, and like I think it was just super cool, like that they had the resilience and wherewithal and knowledge to just be able to be like, hey, I'm good. I can do this and figure it out.
What have you seen from a cultural standpoint, right? You've been everywhere in America. You've been to South America, you've been all over the Middle East, you've been all over Africa, you've been all over Asia. I think a lot of people here in the States are confused, intimidated, or afraid of people that they don't know or people that aren't like them. And there's so much hostility that we're experiencing here in the States. And I think one of the ways to combat that is to meet people where they are and like understand other cultures and like the nuance of being in a certain country or traveling to a certain place. Like, can you talk more about your experience in like the broad cultural diversity that you've experienced over the last couple of decades?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the biggest thing I've learned with travel and through travel, and especially racing in different places, is that almost everybody has the same basic needs and wants, right? They want to know their family is safe. They want to have access to clean water, and they want to, be able to feed and care for the people they love. And like that is irrespective of culture. Those are the things I've seen most is like, wow, that they really like, I think one of my favorite, I have a couple of favorite moments, but one was running around Ethiopia in some of the poorest areas I've ever seen. And it was the kids getting ready for school. It was like right at daybreak, and they're walking down to the bus stops, and you see the moms, and it was literally like our bus stop in Arlington, except like in Ethiopia. And it was like the kids were getting dusted off and like weren't paying attention. And the moms were, sharing coffee with each other. And I was just like, this is just what we have. It's just in a different part of the world. And I saw the same in Saudi Arabia when I won the first ever trail race in Saudi Arabia. Like people driving out in the middle of the desert to hand you a bottle of water because they want you to do well and want you to have a good feeling about their country. Or I did a 400K across the Gobi Desert, like we were talking about, where I was, FaceTiming my wife, but also like there's these guys just stopped in a truck to try to offer us food and drink because like they thought we were like lost in the desert with like these huge packs on our back. But like everyone's like looking out for each other. And like I think once you travel and once you are out with the general people, you see that everyone for the most part is looking to be a good person, and they're looking to take care of you and everyone else. And I've had a couple bad experiences, but I'd say it's just like anything. For every you know three bad experiences, you have 10 good experiences, and that's just part of the price of doing business. To me, is like, sometimes things are going to be bad, but generally people are good. And if you treat people with kindness and respect, like they'll treat you that way back. And that's just, yeah, something I see, regardless of culture, anywhere you go.
On a lighter note, where have you had some of the best food in the world?
It's actually tricky. Being a vegetarian and vegan is very tricky with travel. So like I've had great food in the U.S. actually. Like U.S. has amazing food, but I've had spectacular food in South Africa. Like I think that's a really nice place for great food. When I was over there for Comrades and Two Oceans. New Zealand, I think, has really incredible food. It's like super fresh and local, and they really care about the quality. Australia, also, I'd say one of my highlight places is Japan. Like that is just crazy, and I don't even get to get half the stuff because I don't eat like fish, but they have like like $500 strawberries and like artisan bread. They basically take everything that everyone else is doing and they just make it really
Better.
unique and
Yeah.
better in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, they'll just like, take cotton candy and like make it 10 feet tall and put sprinkles in it and be like, this is Japanese cotton candy now, or like waffles or pancakes or something. And so, yeah, Japan is really special for that. There's a lot of places I haven't been though that I want to go. And then I'd say like, oh, I've been super sick in certain places too. Like I thought I was going to die in Peru and Ethiopia and yeah, but I think that's also part of travel, right? Like we all like I think one of my favorite times is like me and a bunch of photographers were talking about like the sickest we had ever been and like everyone was like one upping each other with like the disgusting illnesses that they've had. But again, I feel like that's like every time I go to China I get super sick. Like the food is amazing and then like I get so sick. So, that's just like every time I go to China I just know I'm going to be sick for a part of it.
Do you have any tips for travel?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like try to bring the least amount of stuff possible and like have something that's like multi-use, like a puffy coat that you can like make into like a pillow that you can also like make an eye mask. So yeah, and then yeah, just keep it super simple and like good shoes. Yeah, you can turn your underwear inside out, so like you can use it more than once. Yeah, just keep it super simple and remember you can wash stuff other places. Like I remember that was like a breakthrough to me. It was like, oh, I could just wash the stuff and then I don't have to bring more stuff. But I think like so many people just bring too much stuff. And so like if you can pare back and refine, that's the way to go. And then noise canceling headphones. Like I have these, but I also like the over the ear
Yeah.
ones for longer flights. And then know if you're an aisle or a window person. Like I used to be an aisle person and I switched to being a window person thanks to my friend Nick. And I feel like that has made a big difference.
Where can we find you later this year?
I'm on social media, so like I'm at Mike Wardian, Mikeward like dog, IAN like Nancy on Instagram and Facebook, X or Twitter. Yeah, so those are the main places. I also have a website, MikeWardian.com. It's kind of just basic, but I feel like most people find everyone on social media at the moment. Yeah, and other than that, yeah, that's kind of where I live at the moment on the internets. And yeah, if anyone needs anything or has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always around.
Especially if you work at Driscoll's. What events can we
Yeah.
find you at this year?
Yeah, I've got the Baltimore Marathon this weekend coming up. And then I'm doing the Marine Corps Marathon and New York City Marathon pacing my friend Dylan. He's an autistic athlete. And then I'll be doing the USATF 50-mile national championships at Tunnel Hill. That's November 8th. And then got the Taco Bell
Hell
50K,
yeah.
either November 22nd or the 29th. And then I'll be doing the marathon project out in Phoenix area, and I'll also be at the running event. And then I'm pretty open for 2026 at the moment. I'm looking at maybe seeing about doing Cocodona 250 and then running the Pacific Crest Trail. So if people are out in that part of the world, hopefully I'll be out on the trail at some point next year. And then usually I'm always at Boston. So like yeah, if people are in the Boston area. And then I'm going to do a trip up to New York. One of my sponsors is Backline. They're a cool clothing brand. So I'll be doing a kind of an event at their store sometime this fall. And then November 10th, I'm releasing running home, a documentary about my TransCon in 2022. And that'll be in Somerville, Mass.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, a lot of different places. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a pretty awesome fall and start to 2026.
Well, we'll have to have a whole other conversation about the Transcon run. That looked wild. I think with a schedule like that, the obvious follow-up question is, how do you recover? What's your secret to recovery?
Besides 100 burpees a day is some of it. I do CrossFit with my buddy Tom Merhofer. He's kind of like my best friend, and we do CrossFit 2 to 3 times a week. Used to be more, but he's got a big time job now, so he's super fancy. So we don't get to work out as much as we used to. And then I do 2 days a week with my friend Jesse Fuller, and that's like all the stuff you don't want to do that makes you better. And I think that really helps me with recovery. And then besides that, try to get in as much good food and nutrition as possible. And then, I try to stretch. I don't do as good a job as possible at stretching, but yeah, just the normal stuff. And then I try to get back running as quickly as possible. So I think that also helps me. So I don't spend a lot of time, not doing anything. I'm always doing some type of something. And, that could be running, could be cycling, could be rowing. But I think, motion is the lotion that keeps the joints happy and healthy and allows you to keep doing what you want to do.
One thing you told me years ago was after you cross the finish line, keep moving and go for a walk or do something. And that's like had a profound impact on my ability to feel better post race. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Now you see that too at like New York City. They don't even let you stop anymore. Like if you want your medal, you got to walk like 2 miles to go get it.
Yeah.
So like I feel like some of the bigger races have started, realizing that, just having people stop right after they cross the line just makes a log jam and doesn't help anyone feel better. So
totally.
So yeah, so I'm happy to see that, other people have adopted that.
Awesome. Mike, this has been a blast. Appreciate all you do for the community, and we'll see you out there.
All right. Bye, guys.